Hi, this is Dr. Richard Ruling here to welcome you on the Total Health Channel. Thank you for being with us from day to day and especially for this weekend. Special topic today, the bridegroom comes. Let's ask God's blessing on this time together. Heavenly Father, thank you for the messages you give us that are to unify us and to prepare us as we understand them. Help us to understand this message especially. And ask for your Holy Spirit that we might be in unity as you prayed in John 17. Thank you for the opportunities to live in the last days, and please do exceeding abundantly for Christ's sake. Hallelujah. The title, The Bridegroom Comes, is a historic message to Seventh-day Adventists. It was given in 1844 as part of a Baptist Millerite movement when they expected the rapture. And actually they gave another message too, the first angel's message of Revelation 14, the bridegroom comes. Neither message fit as they expected, but Adventism grew out of that bitter belly experience of John in Revelation 10:10. The last words of that chapter in the next verse is that you must prophesy again, and I believe it means to give those again means something that was given first. Some of the Adventists today think they're doing that by talking about the third angel's message, but it had not been given in 1844. It's not again that we're giving it. We need to give the first angel's message again, because the judgment that occurred in 1844, as Seventh-day Adventists believe, is Revelation 11:18, the time of the dead, that they should be judged. We believe that God is, Christ is interceding, and there's a judgment going on. And when he comes, he'll have his reward because he knows who's his. But for the living, it's a different situation. It will be life and death situations for us in the end time, like in the book of Daniel, chapters 1-6. Each of those chapters, Daniel or his friends could have died. And I believe if we do it right and live for God, he will spare us and protect us. But it's going to be, a lot of people are going to die in the near future, I believe, if the timing for what I'm saying is right. We will know that, I think, this weekend if we see Israel, Jerusalem attacked. It says in Zechariah 14:1-2, the day of the Lord comes, and all nations will be gathered against Jerusalem. If we see it, hey, we got to give the midnight cry, the bridegroom comes. That's why I'm giving this now ahead of time, so you can model it, understand how it is. This is the message that we must understand, stand under, support, and give as we understand the wedding parables. And so I'm going to give you a quick summary of the seven points on the wedding parables that we must understand. I do have a website that you can get this information from. It's called thebridegroomcomes.com. That's an easy one for you from this message. But it has a second column on that page on why there's no rapture. We're not worried about that today. We're not talking about why no rapture, but good reasons, because there are millions of Christians that expect to be out of here very soon. And I think that if there's a time to watch and pray and be ready for rapture, it also fits the timing for what I'm going to share with you. So first of all, I think that God's signature is 7, and I've got 7 points I want to share. The first one is that the wedding parables are not generally understood. Very few people do, as I understand them. They think it's a rapture, but no rapture. And the wedding parables imply that we don't understand. When the women in Matthew 25 are asleep with lights out, in Matthew 22, the king sends his servants to bid people to the wedding, and they're scorned and ridiculed. Again, why would you do that to the king? Especially the king in this case is God, who's preparing a message and wedding for his son. Okay, and you don't want to scorn that. But they do, okay? And then the third parable, Luke 12, in verse 41, Peter says, is this parable for us or for all? He didn't know. He didn't understand. Christ's reply was, blessed is the servant who is so doing when he comes. He will make him ruler over all that he has. Since my name is ruling, I wanted to understand it. I believe I do. And if you can find a better idea or how this fits, I'm open to it. I'd like to hear. But if not, why, maybe God named me for a reason. I don't know. The issue is that it's not about me. It's about the wise virgins that get into the wedding. 144,000 virgins, actually, in Revelation 14:7. And we can be there and do that. high reward, ruler over all if we get it right. Okay, so first thing to remember about the wedding parables is they're not understood. Second one is there's a sudden event beyond which it's too late to get ready. The women who missed the wedding were only there, only probably a half hour late, 20 minutes, too late. In the parable of Matthew 22, the man without a wedding garment, he could have slipped into a bathroom, changed, been back in a couple minutes. Too late. Okay, no later time to get ready. The Luke 12:36 says, "When I come and knock, you open immediately." Immediately means not time to call a meeting and discuss what we're going to do and so on. It's for the servant who is so doing, and it doesn't mean the whole church, just means you. Okay, if you're there, you can be rewarded. And so a sudden event beyond which no time to get ready. Number 3 point is that the event is an earthquake, huge earthquake. It's the day of the Lord. The night of the Lord is a phrase used only once in the Bible, but day of the Lord is used 25 times, and it's going to be maybe 25 times bigger than the bad night in Egypt when death fell on Egyptians. And the Israelites who were watching and praying, and it says, eat the lamb and leave nothing till morning. We can do that spiritually. We should review his closing scenes of his life with the book Desire of Ages, watch and pray. I think read the chapters and pray between them. We're ready then. Okay, that's number 4. Protection. 3 verses in the Bible imply protection for us if we watch and pray. The good man, if he'd have known, would have watched, not suffered his house to be broken. Earthquake's going to break the house. Okay, now that's how the end times begin. Christ said in Revelation 3:3, "If you don't watch, I'll come on you as a thief." We don't want that. We don't, And the third place is 1 Thessalonians 5:2 and 3 says the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night when they're saying peace and safety. Sudden destruction comes, earthquake, but verse 6 says watch. Okay. So let's integrate this all together. We're going to watch and pray, but watch means be awake, and we can't be awake every night. We need to know when. It's Passover. All these parables have Passover imagery. In fact, Luke has triple Passover imagery. He says, verse 35, have your loins girded. That was in Exodus 12, verse 11. And it says watch. That means to be awake from the Greek word Gregorio, and Passover is the only time that it was required. It would be unfair for Christ to ask us to be awake if we didn't know when. And I think most people are not watching because they don't know when, and you can't be awake every night. But Passover is a time with one modification that we need to understand. In Matthew 25, verse 13 and 14, Christ says to his disciples that they didn't understand, it's like a man traveling to a far country. And that's a provision for Passover 1 month later. If Israelites traveled and took a long journey in spring, couldn't get back to Jerusalem in Passover, they would take it the second month, like the days of Noah. Those closing parables, after the days of Noah, the next parable begins then at the same time. All those are tied together with thens and conjunctions, and even this parable for the 5 women that missed, watch, you don't know, for it's a man traveling to the far country, is starting the very last parable. It's a conjunction. And that man is taking a long trip to heaven, the long journey. Christ is the master, and he's giving us talents, but his return will conform to his law in Numbers 9, verse 10 and 11. It's a 9/11 warning. Have a book, 9/11, okay? And you can get it free tomorrow on Amazon. Go to it and type in my name, Richard Ruling, and 9/11 if you like. It's a free download. If you can't get it, if you don't have a Kindle, don't want to bother with Amazon, go to my website, mayjudgmentday.com. It also has this book, and the wedding, the earthquake and 7 seals is what we need, okay, if we're going to make the wedding covenant. Covenants in the Bible, when God made a covenant with Israel at Sinai, he said, return, I'm married to you. Well, when did they get married? They got married when they made the covenant. And we can make the covenant, but covenants were linked to 7s, like the 7 ewe lambs that Abraham gave Abimelech when he wanted a covenant. Since we want the covenant, we have to be proactive. We ought to give God something. It's the 7 things that he's emphasized 7 times. Take a look at it in the book, The Earthquake and 7 Seals. There are 7 topics that have a 7-fold emphasis, like God's name, Or remember, Elijah's supposed to restore all things. He comes in the context of statutes and judgments in Malachi 4, verse 4 and 5. Remember the law of Moses with the statutes and judgments. Behold, I send you Elijah. Those statutes and judgments have a sevenfold emphasis in Ezekiel 20. Verses 11 to 24 says statutes, judgments, Sabbath, statutes, judgments, Sabbath. They're linked to Sabbath. And we need those topics to make a covenant and to be ready to be bride. God got an ignorant bride at Sinai, worshipped the calves 40 days later. Must not happen to Christ. We need to really understand this better, what he wants from us, and to stand for those truths that you hear nothing about in church. That's why the church is regarded as naked, okay? Actually, it's not the church, it's the agolos to the church, the messenger. Laodicea, lukewarm, Christ outside knocking, and that messenger to the church is naked. Doesn't have all the truth needed for the wedding, and we will be out of luck if I shouldn't use the word luck. That comes from luck from Lucifer. Not a lucky thing at all. It's we need to understand the principles. Thank you for listening to this. Please take a look at the book tomorrow on Amazon. Get it free, or go to the website it's mayjudgmentday.com. And all the things we've been talking about now here are on a website that is a nice review. That's the seventh thing, by the way. We have to invite people to the wedding. Easy for you if you just send a link to thebridegroomcomes.com and say, what do you think of this? Is this good information? Can you refute it? I don't think so. I look for, if you got a better answer, let me know. But anyway, thank you very much, and see you again sometime soon. Tomorrow I'm giving a health programming, and not sure if I'll make a video or not, at a library in Cottonwood. God bless you. Take care. We'll see you.